Hi, my name is Martin Bootman. I'm a reader in biomedicine here in the School of Life, Health and Chemical Sciences at the Open University. I'm also the Director of Research in my department as well, so I have oversight of a lot of colleagues' research, but I get to do a lot of my own research too. I joined the Open University about 7 years ago, and before that I was based in Cambridge and largely doing research, and I realised that actually I wanted to do more teaching. Now, most of my colleagues would tell you they wanted to do more research, but for me, it was an important change in my career at that time. I wanted to make sure that I could relate my research to teaching, and wanted to teach in an environment such as the OU where our teaching fulfills a critical mission of actually reaching students that perhaps couldn't otherwise be educated. And that's one of the things I absolutely love about the OU, is that we do have students who are unable to be educated in conventional brick universities. What I really like about the OU is I'm able to blend my teaching and my research together, and indeed quite a lot of my research does end up in teaching materials, and we do try to make sure that our curriculum and our research underpin each other, and this is an essential feature of my daily job. My research is focused on how cells communicate with each other, and in particular how they use calcium as a messenger. Now, everybody knows that cells need, the individuals need calcium for healthy teeth and bones, but it does so much more than that. Inside the cells that make up our body, the many billions of cells that make up our body, they use calcium as a messenger to talk to each other and to activate various processes. And calcium signals inside cells are orchestrated in spatially and temporally complex, very precise ways. And we know something about the language that cells use to signal with calcium, but we don't know all of that language. And in particular, we don't know what happens when it goes wrong. For example, in the heart, aberrant calcium signals can cause the dysynchrony of the heartbeat. And in other cell types, calcium signals occurring at the wrong time might lead to cell death when we don't want it, or cell survival when we don't want it. And a case in point would be cancer. And my lab has worked on cancer to a degree, trying to understand calcium signals that occur in cancer cells, because cancer cells have the ability to avoid cell death when they should otherwise die, and they have the ability to keep proliferating when they shouldn't. And we know that calcium plays a role in the cell cycle and in cell cycle checkpoints. And one of the things we're trying to understand is, how do cancer cells avoid these cell cycle checkpoints? How do they keep proliferating when indeed they shouldn't, and therefore end up in the growth of a tumour? And that's just one of a number of projects that we're able to pursue here at the Open University. We do a lot of microscopy. As you can see behind me, we have a microscope in which we can look at the activity of individual cells. And just here on the screen behind me, you can see a field of cells in which we've loaded a specific indicator that enables us to follow the activity of, in this case, calcium within individual cells in real time, so that we can work out at a precise microscopic detail where calcium signals are arising inside cells, what they're caused by, and then what they go on to do. And when we know this, we can then develop therapies in the future where we can change these calcium signals and hopefully control conditions, as I mentioned before, like cancer and dysrhythmias in the heart. And of course, when we're doing this, we feed our knowledge into our courses. And so, for example, I worked on a module called S317, which is a third level cell biology module. And a large part of what I wrote for that, the topic in that course, was based around calcium as an example of an intracellular messenger and how it coordinates all the activities that cells do. So we very much blend our research and teaching, and I think that's one of the really exciting things about being here at the Open University. We generate our own resources, and we have a lot of facilities that we can do that with.